Hi, I'm Shane.
And I'm Josh.
We're from Silverstein, and you're watching Rock Forever Magazine.
Hey guys, it's Tori from Rock Forever Magazine, and I am here right now with Silverstein. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Enjoying Orlando so far?
Yeah, always a good time here. So it's
Definitely.
cool. You know, sometimes we play at Disney. Tonight we're right downtown, and I think I prefer that. A little more going on.
Really, more than Disney World?
Well, it's like more our kind of speed, you know?
True,
It's hard to find like good cold brew coffee and craft beer at Disney World, so.
True, it's very true. And things kind of get real quiet at night at Disney after the shows, and there'll be a little more nightlife here, I think.
Oh, definitely. So it'll be a good time here, downtown Orlando, killing it. And you know, this tour right here is celebrating the 10-year anniversary of discovering the Waterfront, which is quite a huge milestone. And the thing that's so special about music is that it brings back so many memories. So what goes through your mind revisiting these songs every night?
Well, every time we play the songs and we're in a different city, it really evokes a different response, I think. Like, you know, sometimes even on stage after we play a song or before, I'll be like, this is a funny story, and I'll actually like share some memories that I've had, you know, from whether it's from the studio or writing of the songs or whatever, and it's been a really cool vibe like that, just to be able to do that, and it's a little bit less, a little more loose, I guess, with that kind of stuff than rather than sometimes when you're on stage, you know, kind of going through the motions a little bit with, here's what I'm going to say between this song maybe, or here's the idea. This is just like a little more of a free-for-all.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, I remember hearing you say in another interview that when you released Discovering the Waterfront, most of the bands at that point were just releasing 2 albums and then breaking up, was something you said. So what do you think made you guys so different to break the mold and have such a long and successful career?
You know, I think one thing with us is our music's pretty diverse. You know, we have a lot of levels. We have heavy songs, softer songs, acoustic songs, and like fast songs and slow songs and everything in between. So I think for us, we've never been in a place where we wanted to do something else. We've always been content, all of us, with the music we play, and we haven't had a huge need to like feel like we have to change. So I think that's really kept us happy with it, and obviously we've had, our fans have been so supportive. They've enabled us to continue touring and being able to do this. So we have to give a big thanks to them as well.
Absolutely. And it was nice getting nostalgic talking about this album, but you also have another album, I Am Alive in Everything I Touch, coming out May 19th. And similarly to previous releases, this is a concept record. So what inspired you to have different songs representing different cities?
Well, I mean, we've performed, you know, for 15 years touring, and some of these cities that I talk about, we've played a lot of different times. You know, over the years, like for example, one city I talk about is like Atlanta, which there's a venue there called the Masquerade, which how many times do you think we've played there?
It's in the high teens, I think, at this point.
Yeah. With probably 15, 20 times. So it's just kind of interesting to revisit the same place and think back to all the different times in our lives when sometimes things were going really well, sometimes things were going not so well, you know, emotionally, or, you know, going through a hard time in our lives. So I think it's just kind of a powerful thing to have you know, these different settings kind of represent the emotional side of what we do and what we faced.
Definitely.
It's interesting because we were just talking about how on this Discovering the Waterfront tour, playing songs in these different venues that we've been to a bunch of times and songs we played a bunch of times is dragging up all these old memories. The record is almost a bit like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's about these cities that we've spent a lot of time in and associate certain events and certain feelings that we've had in those cities at different times. It's an interesting connection between what we're doing right now and what the record that we made.
Yeah, it definitely ties together nicely. And I mean, what details did you add to the tracks on this album to help you sort of convey these cities and represent them?
Well, one thing we did that was pretty cool is we had some friends. Obviously, we have a lot of friends all over North America now with all the touring we've done. We got some of our friends to record the sounds of the cities.
Oh, that's so cool.
So had them go around, you know, whether it's with like professional recording gear or just like their iPhone voice note and recording some different sounds, and we were able to incorporate them into all the songs on the record. So if you hear the song about, you know, Atlanta, for example, There's some stuff of the city and there, and we got some stuff from like the trains in New York and the beaches in Florida, and something from Los Angeles and Las Vegas and all these different places. So it was cool to be able to have that incorporated and have it really be like just an extra little thing for, to kind of hold it up.
Definitely. And I mean, this is such a creative concept, and now it's going to be like a scavenger hunt for people to hear these sound effects,
right,
huh?
The Easter eggs, as they call them, yes.
Definitely. And musically and lyrically, how is this album going to be different from previous releases?
I mean, we're always a band that we try to evolve naturally with our sound. We aren't trying to reinvent the wheel, and we're certainly not trying to like change what we do musically, really. I mean, everything's been a natural progression, and this album was the same. I think lyrically is always a place I can kind of stretch myself a little bit, writing some of the lyrics, and Paul Mark wrote some of the lyrics on this record too. So together, I think we have some very real stuff. I think it's a little bit more personal and a little more autobiographical than some of the previous records. So I think I really put myself out there, and it's a little scary at times, but I think that when you do that, it's more real for people, and I think people can relate to it even more.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the meaning behind the album title as well? I see a smirk.
I think it's basically about in the process of living, you are touching things constantly, whether it be physically or mentally, emotionally. You're always affecting what's going on around you, even in a small, very minute way, so that literally everything that you touch holds a part of you. And any small interactions you have, they wouldn't have happened without you, True. Everything that you touch holds a little bit of you.
Another the quote is actually taken from a book by Timothy Findley, who is a writer who happened to be born in Toronto too. So nice. If you look at the track listing, you'll see that Toronto is the first song and the last song is the title. So obviously that's where we're from. So it's a big significance as well.
Awesome. And you also released a music video for Midwestern State of Emergency not so long ago, which was really cool for me to watch. How'd you guys come up with the concept for that one?
It was actually the director, Max Moore, who we'd never worked with before. Was fantastic, and he just kind of looked at some of the stuff I'd written about, the lyrics, and some of the stuff I'd written about the concept of the album, and he just kind of put this whole like bit together. And I like what he did. I think like it's always tricky when you make a music video, because you don't want to be too literal with like a song or an album. You want it to kind of hold up on its own and sort of be like a bit of well, you know what I'm trying to say, I guess, like an analogy in a way.
Metaphorical? Yeah,
exactly, a little more like that way. So so I think he really did a good job with it, and it was actually it was pretty fun to film, other than the bathtub scene was pretty horrible, but the video was fun otherwise.
I was literally just about to ask you, what was it like to film those underwater scenes? Because it looked, not the most pleasant thing.
No, well, I had these like black pants, similar. They might have even been these ones, and I had never washed them. Ooh. So when I got in the bathtub, all the like dye was coming out. So then when he's okay, put your head under the water, and all the water with the dye in it is like going into my sinuses and stuff, I was like, this is not going to be. This can't be good for me. So it was pretty uncomfortable, but in the end, it was something we'd never done before, and came out pretty cool.
Yeah, it made for a good video, so it was worth it. And I mean, you are on this 10-year anniversary tour right now, but what's coming up for you guys after this?
Lots more touring.
We are touring up the wazoo.
Yeah,
and
we take the Discovering the Waterfront 10-year anniversary over to Europe. I think we're taking it to Australia.
Possibly even Asia. And then, and Hawaii. That is also happening.
Nice.
All this is getting wild. And then we'll be on tour the rest of the year promoting the new record, and expect some more music videos from us. We've done some cool kind of documentaries about the making of the album that's going to be out pretty soon too, I think, and we'll be busy.
Yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to from you guys, and I can't wait. So thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you very much.
Awesome talking to you. And everybody watching, get ready for the new music coming in May. Subscribe for more interviews, and I'll catch you later. Bye.